Welcome to our countdown of the top miracles performed by Jesus. These incredible acts of divine power have inspired millions and continue to be a testament to his greatness. Across the dusty landscapes of ancient Galilee, a young man walked, captivating hearts and challenging the very fabric of reality. His name was Jesus, and his life was a tapestry woven with threads of compassion, wisdom, and the unimaginable miracles. Join us now as we journey back in time to witness these awe-inspiring events. From calming raging storms to defying the grip of death itself, each miracle reveals a glimpse into the boundless power and love that reside at the heart of the divine. The Sea of Galilee, a place of beauty, a source of livelihood, but also a place of sudden, violent storms. Imagine yourself huddled in a small fishing boat, the wind howling like a banshee, waves crashing over the bow, threatening to swallow you whole. Terror grips your heart as the boat is tossed about like a toy. This was the very real fear that gripped the disciples as they sailed with Jesus. They were seasoned fishermen, yet this storm was different. But amidst the chaos, Jesus slept. Awakened by his terrified followers, he stood, a figure of serenity amidst the raging tempest. He stretched out his hand, and with a voice that echoed the voice of creation itself, he spoke, "Peace, be still." And just like that, the wind ceased, the waves subsided, and an eerie calm settled over the water. Even the storm obeyed his command. Night had fallen on the Sea of Galilee once more. The disciples, battling exhaustion and fear as they navigated the choppy waters, saw a figure in the distance, a figure walking towards them on the water. Imagine their terror, their confusion, their disbelief. Their minds struggled to comprehend what their eyes were witnessing. Could it be? Was it a ghost? An apparition? No. As the figure drew closer, they recognized him. It was Jesus. He walked across the turbulent waves as effortlessly as one strolls through a field. The impossible rendered possible, the laws of nature seemingly suspended. This act defied explanation, defied logic, but for the disciples, it was a moment of profound revelation. In that instant, they glimpsed the true nature of Jesus' power, a power that extended beyond the boundaries of the physical world. Imagine a life shrouded in perpetual darkness, a world devoid of color and light. This was the reality for the blind man, a life sentence without parole. He had known nothing but darkness since birth, his world confined to touch and sound. But one day, everything changed. He encountered Jesus. With a touch of gentle hands and words that held the weight of creation, Jesus bestowed upon him the gift of sight. Can you imagine the feeling of light hitting your eyes for the first time? The explosion of colors, the shapes taking form, the faces of loved ones suddenly revealed. It was a miracle that transcended the physical act of healing. It was a restoration of hope, a testament to the boundless compassion of Jesus. Picture a vast crowd, thousands strong, gathered to hear Jesus speak. As the day wore on, hunger began to gnaw at their bellies. What could they do? They were in a deserted place, far from any village or source of food. But Jesus, ever compassionate, saw their need. 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fish. That was all they had. A meager offering, hardly enough to satisfy a small family, let alone a multitude. But in the hands of Jesus, this meager offering became a symbol of abundance. He blessed the food, broke it, and began to distribute it. And something miraculous happened. The food multiplied, enough to feed everyone present, with baskets overflowing with leftovers. A testament to the fact that with faith, even the smallest offering can be transformed into an abundance. Death, the ultimate end, the inevitable fate that awaits us all. Or is it? In the story of Lazarus, we witness the impossible, the unthinkable, the reversal of death itself. Lazarus, a close friend of Jesus, had fallen ill and died. By the time Jesus arrived, Lazarus had been in the tomb for 4 days. Grief hung heavy in the air as Martha and Mary, Lazarus' sisters, met Jesus. "Lord," Martha cried, "if you had been here, my brother would not have died." Jesus, moved by their grief, approached the tomb and commanded, "Lazarus, come out," and he did. Lazarus, wrapped in grave clothes, emerged from the darkness, alive. The impossible had become reality. This miracle, more than any other, solidified Jesus' dominion over life and death, a stark declaration that even the grave held no power over him. A wedding feast, a time of joy, celebration and community. But imagine the scene. The wine, the lifeblood of the party, runs dry. Embarrassment for the host, a pall cast over the festivities. It was a social disaster waiting to happen. But Jesus was present. His mother, Mary, ever attuned to the needs of others, brought the problem to his attention. 6 stone jars filled with water stood nearby, used for ceremonial washing. Jesus instructed the servants to fill the jars to the brim. And then he performed his first miracle. The water at his command transformed into the finest wine, far surpassing the quality of the original supply. It was a miracle that spoke not only of Jesus' power, but also of his compassion and desire to bring joy to those around him. The pain of a parent losing a child is, well, immeasurable. Such was the anguish of Jairus, a synagogue ruler whose daughter lay dying. He had heard of Jesus' healing power, his ability to defy the natural order. Desperate, he fell at Jesus' feet, begging him to save his little girl. As they made their way to Jairus' house, news arrived. The girl had died. All hope seemed lost, but Jesus, in his infinite wisdom, reassured Jairus, "Do not be afraid, only believe." Upon entering the house of mourning, Jesus uttered words that echoed with divine authority. "Little girl, I say to you, arise," and she did. The lifeless body, once cold, was filled with warmth once more. The stilled heart beat anew, life restored. Imagine being trapped within your own body, unable to move, to walk, to experience the freedom of movement. This was the reality for the paralyzed man, his world confined to the mat he lay upon. His friends, however, refused to give up hope. They had heard of Jesus' healing power and devised a daring plan. Carrying their friend to the roof of the house where Jesus was teaching, they lowered him down through an opening. Jesus, seeing their faith, uttered words that shocked the gathered crowd. "Your sins are forgiven." Then, turning to the man, he said, "Rise, take up your mat and walk." And he did. The once paralyzed man stood, his body whole and healed. He walked out of that house a changed man, not just physically healed, but spiritually transformed. For 12 long years she had suffered, her body racked with a bleeding disorder, deemed unclean by society. She lived in the shadows, ostracized and alone. She had spent all her money on physicians, but to no avail. Hope had dwindled to a flicker, but then she heard of Jesus. Word of his healing power, his compassion for the outcast, spread like wildfire. A spark of hope ignited within her weary heart. She knew that even to touch his garment would be enough. So she pressed through the crowd, her eyes fixed on Jesus, and as she reached out, her fingers brushed against the hem of his robe. Instantly she felt it, a surge of power, a cessation of pain. She was healed. Jesus, sensing the outflow of his power, turned and asked, "Who touched me?" Trembling, the woman fell at his feet, confessing her act, and Jesus, with words that dripped with love and acceptance, said, "Daughter, your faith has made you whole. Go in peace." Leprosy, a cruel disease that isolates its victims, leaving them not only physically scarred but also socially ostracized. 10 lepers living on the fringes of society cried out to Jesus for mercy. "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." Their voices, hoarse and desperate, echoed across the chasm that separated them from the world. And Jesus, moved by their plight, responded, "Go, show yourselves to the priests." For according to Jewish law, a priest had to declare them clean before they could rejoin society. As they went, their faith burning bright, something miraculous happened. Their ravaged bodies, once covered in sores, began to heal. Their skin, once ashen and lifeless, regained its healthy glow. They were clean. Overwhelmed with joy, 9 of the lepers rushed off to show themselves to the priests, eager to reclaim their lives. But one, a Samaritan, overcome with gratitude, turned back to find Jesus. He fell at Jesus' feet, praising God for his wondrous healing. And Jesus, looking at him with compassion, said, "Rise and go, your faith has made you well." Thank you for joining us on this journey through the miraculous works of Jesus. May these stories inspire you and strengthen your faith. From calming the raging storms to healing the sick and even raising the dead, these miracles reveal a glimpse into the boundless power and love of Jesus. They remind us that with faith, all things are possible. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. May the miracles of Jesus continue to inspire and uplift you, reminding you that even in the darkest of times, hope and love prevail.